I'm hoping you can see this okay, because I'm going to hold it. I haven't eaten, so I'm a little shaky, so my apologies. And, been yelled at for the last 2 hours. So I'm sure you know already, poker, you have to connect. So you connect up here. That's what's nice about it, is you can connect through the Wi-Fi, so you don't have to unmount the SD card or anything. So that's kind of nice. But in NHSE, you can do the whole make the SD card readable like a USB drive, so you don't really have to unmount it ever. But for poker, so you're going to push connect, and then it's going to show you that it's connected, show your IP address, and then it'll show your player names. That's how you know that you're connected. So map dropper is pretty basic. So this is, you fetch your map, and this is like in Spawner how you can put items dropped or placed on the map. And you can pick them up over here. You can categorize them. And then based on the flag, it's either placed or dropped, and then the color will change. So like when I fetch my map and I look at the Treasure Island part, the placed items are light green and the dropped items are like a darker green. So if I move the little square job up here, other way around, sorry. So the dark green is the placed and the light green is the dropped. So see, these are all placed on the map, and then these brighter greens are all dropped on the map. So, and then there's some like shortcuts that Juliana told me that I can't off the top of my head remember, but it's like Alt, Control, and Shift. I believe Alt and click is delete, Shift and click is place. Can't remember what Control is, but if you fiddle with them, you'll probably figure it out, and you can't do too much damage there. Field is how you would plant your trees, your flowers, and they're very specific. So a planted flower has a different name than one that is just like, I don't know, tulip. It has like PLT in front of it. I think it's PLTD in front of it. I could be wrong. And so that means it's like actually physically planted. So even if you use the right flag and you put a flower down without, and it's not the right flower, it'll just be a seed, and then you can pick it up. So that was like a big thing for me in the beginning that I messed up. So that is the basics of this. Under remove items, you can get rid of all the specific things that are listed here. And then at the very bottom, it says bulk spawn, and that's where you can spawn NHIs or the what are they called? NHBS files. And that's like the files that you look at the map and you copy and save. So my whole Treasure Island area is saved as one NHBS, so that if anything happens, then I can just respawn it in the exact same spots. Like each section, I should say, because it just counts the amount of items and then fits it in your coordinates. There are a bunch of pre-saves, way more than than we've made. So I don't know why it does this, but it's under the wrong thing. So when yours will open on the right thing, and then it'll show you a list of all those. And then if you change this, it'll change to the NHIs too that you have. So you might want to look at that and practice spawning those. And then that's kind of the gist of this one. So freezer is where you're going to have all these things on. So see, it says 64 are used. That means that Bridget's Treasure Island area is frozen right now. So people can come by and pick up, same thing as we do in Spawner. And then you would just unfreeze the same way here. It's just in a different area. And then the Dodo helper is what auto fetches the Dodo, but I don't do that. I use the Discord and the bot that Juliana showed me. And then bulldozer is how you move everything. It's a little persnickety, as you saw with my radio issue. So, but it works really good for moving actual buildings. So acre is the land and building is the buildings. So it kind of takes a little bit of, clicking when it comes to villager houses because they're not named. So see, here's my villager house 3. And then, you can't click on them here because it will move it there. See, you don't want to do that. So what you want to do is you want to find the one that specifically gets highlighted, and then that's how you move it. So because I showed you that thing, I had to load it. So you go build, and then so you just click on the villager names until you find the right one. So this is the one I'm going to show you how to move. So it's right there. So then these are the X and Y coordinates of where it is. So it's subtle, but if you push down, see, it's moving to the left. And if you push down on Y, it's going to move up. And then when it's where you want it to be, you're going to push update. It's going to show this house over there. And then you're going to push confirm. And then when you go in a building and out of building, ideally like something that takes time to load, like the airport or Nooks, something, like a couple trips in a pipe, then the house will move. And then it will be there. It takes a little while for the villager to like pop up, right? But it will eventually be there. It's like I said, it's a little persnickety. If you don't want to move it, you just close this out. Don't push confirm or anything else, and your house will stay where it is. You can move all of the things that way. You can move the campsite, you can move residential services, but remember, residential services has a plaza, has a building, and then also has the radio. So you have to move them all in conjunction. The radio won't be underneath this. It will be underneath the drop menu, and then you'll have to move it. And it takes half of 2 squares. So that's why Poker doesn't deal with it well, and why it was floating on my roof. You can also just delete it, and it should respawn where it's supposed to be. But that's kind of like a hit and miss too, depending on where you put your plaza. But like Bridges Plaza didn't used to be here. It used to be over here, and I hated it here, so I moved it there. And then everything else I wanted lined up. So it's super easy to move the houses. If you wanted to move the campsite, you can move the campsite. You can actually also rotate them, which I did try to do with the campsite. It didn't work out well. You can also, in NHSC, you can make them go under the land and like disappear, which Dana's done. You can also move like the airport and put the airport in the middle of your map. You can do all sorts of weird wonky stuff. The way I fixed the back of this where it has no beach is I went to Acre and I copied the middle bit of this land, which was just 0, and I clicked it, and then I went to where I wanted to go, and then I clicked there and I click replace, and so then I put there, and then I just found like shores. So that's how I stretched it out over the ocean in the back to make more land. So you can fiddle with it to a degree and mess it up, but it's not as bad as NHSE. And it's kind of silly to restart just to move stuff, because you can move it pretty freely on a modded Switch. And then what else is there? Other is your walk speed and your animation. That's where that is. Your other stuff, your turnip prices, animation, your reactions, they're all here. And then your inventory is the first screen. Obviously, her pockets are empty. Villagers are here. This is where you would have them move out. The forced move out seems to work best. It takes a little bit of time, but it seems to work best. And that's kind of the gist of Poker. It's not super difficult.